Big two games for the Reds so far in this series. Eugenio Suarez celebrated the big winning hit on Friday night. And then yesterday afternoon, 2 in the 7th, 5 more in the bottom of the 8th for the Reds. And they go on to win 9-1. A big day, a big celebration for Reds fans yesterday afternoon here at Great American Ballpark. And now, under a beautiful blue sky, sun-drenched Sunday afternoon here at GABP, it's the finale of this three-game series, the Reds and the Cardinals, right here on Fox Sports Ohio. And hi, and a pleasant Sunday afternoon, everyone. Along with Chris Welsh and Jim Day, I'm Jim Kelch, and welcome, as always, to Reds baseball, where the Reds go for the sweep of this three-game series against the Cardinals, something they have not done here in Cincinnati since 2012. And, Chris, yesterday they get the win in this series because of very good defense.
Well, how do you walk 8 batters and have none of them come around to score? Well, you throw a little D on them, and that's exactly what the Reds did yesterday. Every time you turned around, it was a spectacular play. Maybe the best of all was right there, and a game changer when Billy Hamilton grabbed that line drive and turned it into a double play instead of a 2-run double. Zach Kozar diving in the hole right there, snags a base hit away from the Cardinals, and it didn't stop there.
That may have been the most impressive one right here, that double play. Boy, Jose Peraza can turn it out at second.
Well, very quick turn to second base, but that's what defense is all about, is making the plays when you have to. And that was a blowout game final score, but it was a lot closer than that, you know, throughout the entire ball game until very late in the game. And the reason was the Reds were able to slap the D on the Cardinals.
Tim Adelman will start this game for the Reds today. It's funny, he has 2 quality starts this year, both of those on the road, 2 wins, both here at home.
It's really been 2 seasons for Tim Adelman. He had 4 starts early in the year, then he went on the disabled list for a long time, was recalled August the 16th. This is his 4th start since coming back up. Those are the season numbers on Adelman all year long. He's trying to leave a good impression here for those that make the decisions around the Reds, so he'll get a starting shot at being a starter next year.
His mound opponent for the Cardinals will be their ace, Carlos Martinez.
If the playoffs were to start tomorrow and the Cardinals were in it, you would see Carlos Martinez on the mound for the Cardinals. He's been by far their best pitcher, coming off an outing against the Milwaukee Brewers where he struck out 13 in 6 innings. He's no longer just a rare back and throw guy. He's got a lot of other pitches, changeup and slider, and all of them very good pitches.
All right, that's what we have for you this afternoon on this Sunday, Labor Day weekend. Reds and the Cardinals, the finale of this series. We'll take a break. When we come back, will we see the Nimbus brought out here this afternoon? Now, for the 8th time this year, Tim Adelman takes the mound to get a Reds game started. He has a record of 2-2, a 3.82 ERA, and he will face the St. Louis Cardinals for the first time in his career. And here, in fact, is the lineup that he will get a look at this afternoon. It'll be Carpenter, Jerko, and Moss. Piscotty, Molina back in the lineup this afternoon, and then Greg Garcia, Grichuk, Colton Wong for the first time in this series. And batting ninth, the pitcher Carlos Martinez. Tim Adelman, 2-2. 2 wins at home this year, 2 quality starts on the road this year.
Tim Adelman is one of 11 players that the Reds have had make their major league debut this year. He made it back early in the year when he had 4 starts in a row and went 1-1 with a 3.7 earned run average. That is very much like what he's done since he was recalled on August the 16th. 1-1 with a 3.9 earned run average over 3 starts. So he makes start number 8 on the year, and Adelman, if he's on his game, you're going to see a little sinking fastball about 92 miles an hour, nice little curveball and changeup and slider. He has all the pitches, and he throws strikes.
Now he's ready to go. So is Matt Carpenter. Finale of this 3-game series here at Great American Ballpark is underway as Carpenter takes a strike. 81 degrees, very comfortable Sunday afternoon here at GABP. Reds, as we talked about, Jim Day talked about, looking for the sweep of this Cardinal team for the first time since July of 2012 here at Great American Ballpark. To Billy Hamilton, drifting to his left. He makes the catch, and that's a good start for Adelman. Carpenter flies to center. Reds defensively brought to you by your Ford dealers. They line up like this. Peraza getting the start in left field this afternoon. Center fielder is Hamilton, and the right field spot is Schebler. On the infield, Suarez, Cozart, Iribarren, and Votto. Cabrera behind the plate catching Tim Adelman. And there's the new man, Hernan Iribarren.
And you're getting a thumbs up from down in the camera well where Jim Day is. I know you and he had rehearsed that pronunciation of Iribarren's name, and you got it right, Jim. Way to go.
33-year-old from the Dominican. Swing and a miss. Hasn't played in the big leagues since 2009. Hasn't made a start in the big leagues since 2008. Has over 3,200 plate appearances in AAA alone in a professional career that began back in 2004. Brian Price likes to say he earned his way to Cincinnati for the month of September this year with a terrific year at AAA. We'll talk more about him as the afternoon unfolds. Jed Jerko, the shortstop. He accounted for the only Cardinal run yesterday with his 25th home run of the year. It came in the first inning against Dan Straley. By the way, set the stage early for the Reds yesterday. Allowed that run in the first, but it turned out to be the only run he gave up in winning his 11th game. Schebler back, but he'll get to the spot. Step onto the warning track is there. So 2 fly balls, 2 out here in the Cardinal first inning. Reds back, as you can see, with those red jerseys again. A day game. But we could not ask for more perfect weather than we had yesterday or again here today for this Labor Day weekend. Big fireworks show in downtown Cincinnati tonight. Concert here last night. Chase Rice, it went over incredibly well. Here's Brandon Moss. 256 with 25 home runs, but only 1 for his last 21. 0 for 6 in this series for Moss. And he's quickly in the hole. 2 strikes.
Nice easy delivery by Adelman. A little sneaky fastball right there. That ball seemingly right down the middle, but he threw it by a pretty good fastball hitter in Brandon Moss.
And he got him. 3 pitches. Down goes Moss on strikes, and a perfect first inning turned in by Tim Adelman. Perfect first inning for Tim Adelman, and now the Reds come up against the right-hander Carlos Martinez. Billy Hamilton, as usual, here as of late in the leadoff spot for the Reds. The rest of the lineup put forth by Brian Price has Cozart 2, Votto 3, Suarez, Schebler, and Peraza. And then Cabrera, Iribarren, and on the 9 spot for the Reds, Adelman against this right-hander Carlos Martinez.
Well, he may have very similar numbers to what he had last year. He was 14-7 last year in his 29 starts. He's had 25 starts this year, 12 wins, 7 losses. But this young man in no way resembles the pitcher that we remember breaking on the scene about 3 or 4 years ago as just an overpowering, hard-throwing right-hander. I mean, the transition that Martinez has made has been really quite stark. He no longer tries to overpower everybody, takes a little bit off his fastball here and there. He works around 92 and 93, but he saves in the tank a fastball up around 96 or 97 when he needs it.
Well, he comes into this game on a real roll. He's had 4 consecutive quality starts, and of those 4, 3 of them he allowed just 1 run. An ERA over those 4 of 2.00. And he's making his 2nd start against the Reds this year. That's one of those balls right there that you want to get as soon as it goes foul. That's exactly what Greg Garcia, playing third base this afternoon, did. You showed me a highlight the other day of a ball that was cued off the end of a bat in a minor league game that went easily 30 or 40 feet foul and came back fair inside the first base bag.
It looked like it was headed to the dugout, and it took a U-turn. It seemed like it went right back over the line. It was fielded by the first baseman for an easy out.
Billy Hamilton takes strike 3 from Carlos Martinez. Take a look at the Cardinals defensively, brought to you by your Ford dealers. Moss, Grichuk, Piscotty. That's their outfield here this afternoon. Garcia moves over to third base. Then Jerko at short. Wong, Colton Wong, his first appearance of the series at second. Carpenter at first. Martinez and Molina. The battery. There's Colton Wong. Guy that is signed to a long-term contract, but is not playing nearly as much as he thought he would, as the Cardinals thought he would this year.
Well, they like Wong whenever they can get him into a game because he gives them some athleticism, something that this Cardinal team doesn't have a whole lot of. They're very much a station-to-station ball club. They sit back and they wait for home runs. Wong gives you the added attraction of being a little bit of a burner on the base pass. He can cover a lot of ground defensively, but he's just unable to get his bat going so far.
Well, he signed a 5-year, $25 million deal in the offseason. This is the first year of that deal. He's not playing every day. Votto rolls out, so Martinez, like Adelman, a quick and easy first. Make sure you follow Reds Baseball Live with the MLB.com at-bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with game day, live game video highlights, StatsCast, news, and more. Simply download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and your tablet. Piscotty deleted off for the Cardinals here in the second. First inning was a Carpenter fly to center, a Jerko fly to right, and a Moss strikeout. Now it's Piscotty, Molina, Garcia, inning number 2. Mentioned earlier that Adelman has not faced the Cardinals, so obviously the Cardinals have not seen Tim Adelman. They would have seen him on video, but not live and in person. Piscotty at 275 with 20 home runs. He's driven in 73. He had a pair of hits yesterday, both singles. Young man out of Stanford has claimed that right field spot for St. Louis. Carlos Beltran not brought back by the Cardinals after the 2015 season. They believed in what they'd seen from Piscotty, although he played mostly left field last year. He's been their right fielder for the most part this year. And he gets himself a third hit of this series here, down the left field line, cut off in the corner by Jose Peraza, who will get that ball back in. Piscotty, the first base runner of the game, a leadoff second inning double, his 30th of the year.
And he's been kind of anonymous, really, in this series. Piscotty has, besides misplaying a ball in right field. He hasn't done anything that would really make you remember him. He's a guy, however, that the Cardinals really depend on in the middle of that order. And he gets a changeup that Adelman leaves a little bit upstairs and drives it into left field for a double.
So here's Yadier Molina. That 30th double by Piscotty ties him for the Cardinal team lead with a man at the plate. First pitch swinging to right. Schebler has a beat on it. Piscotty will tag and move up 90 feet. And he's at third base with 1 out.
You know, I don't know if there's a stat that they keep like this. I suppose there is because it happens on the field. But in order to get a guy from second to third base, you hit the ball to the right side. I would suggest that there's probably not a better player in the league, maybe in all of baseball, who can do that than Yadier Molina. He seemingly can hit the ball to the right side at will, and he does it that time with a fly ball.
So Molina, who had the day off yesterday, the entire day, did not pinch hit late in the game. Back in there today, moves the runner up. Reds move the infield in for, at least in this series, their nemesis, Greg Garcia. They have not been able, the Reds haven't, to retire this guy this weekend. Friday night he was 3 for 3 with a pair of doubles and a single. Yesterday 3 walks and then a 9th inning single. He's been on 7 times.
Well, he's done the exact opposite of what he did in the first half of August when he went 0 for 31. And since that time, he's raised his batting average by 40 points. He's got it up around the 275 mark now.
Guess that's called the ups and downs of the major league season right there.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, especially for a young player like Garcia.
Got him. There's the first time that Garcia has gone to the plate and back to the dugout. That comes at a big time with a big strikeout. Now the infield can move back.
You know, look at the movement on this pitch that he throws. I mean, it's got great movement. It starts in off the plate, and it must have some extra little deception there too, because he's not the first guy in this lineup that he has thrown the fastball by. He's done it to Brandon Moss, a good fastball hitter, and same for Garcia. You know, he gives you a nice easy motion, but a little extra pop at the very end.
So here's the Cardinals center fielder Randall Grichuk. Cardinals have scored 3 runs in this series, all via the solo home run. And even if you go back to their game on Wednesday at Milwaukee, they scored 1 run. That was on a solo home run by Molina. So their last 3 games, the only way they have scored is via the solo homer. 1-1 now to Grichuk. Cardinals paid for that loss yesterday after the Mets were a winner against the Nationals, so their lead now in the wild card spot for the number 2 position, down to just 1 game ahead of the Mets. Schebler going back. Schebler near the wall. Schebler's not going to get it. That's a home run for Randall Grichuk. His second home run of the series. He hit one in the 5th inning on Friday night. He hits one here in the 2nd. 2-0 Cardinals.
Randall Grichuk, boy, he's got the home run swing going, doesn't he? He spent some time in the minor leagues this year in 2 different tours. He spent up to 25 days down in the minors, but he has been a power source for the Cardinals. 8 home runs now, 9 home runs since August the 11th, and when he was recalled from the minor leagues. Well, the Cardinals just live and die by the home run. I mean, the only runs that they've scored really in the last 4 ball games, and includes one against the Milwaukee Brewers before they started this series, have all come by home runs. In fact, prior to today, the 4 home runs that they had scored were all on solo shots. 2 by Molina, 1 by Jerko, and now the second one by Grichuk.
Grichuk had a power breakthrough season last year when he hit 17. He surpassed that this year now with 21. Schebler will make the basket catch, and that ball hit by Colton Wong. So the inning is over, but the Cardinals on a 2-run homer by Randall Grichuk jumped in front. Take a look at today's IGS, bringing the energy feature. Games with a home run consecutive this season. The Cardinals have now broken a tie with the Red Sox. 23 straight games with a home run, trailing only the Padres, who earlier this year had a streak of 25, and that streak was ended by the Reds. Reds won't end the Cardinals streak, at least here. 23 straight games for St. Louis.
You know, the interesting thing about that, though, in the previous 22, the 23rd is today, but the 22, guess what their record is? 11-11. So maybe the home run streak, although you'll take home runs whenever you can get them, might be a little bit overrated.
4 on the series now, and 193 on the year for this Cardinal club. As I mentioned, they hold down the number 2 spot in the wild card race right now, but only by a game over the Mets. Reds have had a chance to help the Mets by winning the first 2 games here, and now the Reds will have a chance starting tomorrow to help the Cardinals, because the Mets will come in here for 3 games.
Maybe you want to rephrase that from help the Cardinals to something else.
Affect the wild card race.
There you go. I like that.
Is that better? Suarez is out on strike, so 2 of them now by Carlos Martinez. Here's a look at the standings. The Giants have a 2.5 game lead now over the Cardinals for the number 1 wild card spot. They won yesterday while the Cardinals lost. Mets won, so they're within a game. Pittsburgh 2.5. Miami 3. And after that New York series, the Reds go to Pittsburgh for 4. So they are just right in the middle of it.
I mean, it's been such a wacky year and wacky series of events for so many of those teams that are in the wild card. I mean, all the injuries that the Mets have sustained, including most recently to Neil Walker, their second baseman, now done for the year. He was a guy that provided them great defense, leadership, power. Gone. I mean, the injuries that have affected the starting rotation for the Pittsburgh Pirates. None of the starting pitchers that they had last time the Reds played them are going to be in that series, I think, when the Reds head up to Pittsburgh later on the week.
Yeah, the starting rotation for that series was on the grease board down in Brian's office. There were a couple of names just like, now, I don't think we've ever seen that guy before.
I mean, when you look at the Pirates, their original starting rotation was Garrett Cole, Francisco Liriano, Jeff Locke, Jonathan Neese, and Juan Nicasio. Well, Cole is on the DL. Liriano is in Toronto. Jeff Locke is in the bullpen. Nicasio is in the bullpen. And Jonathan Neese was traded back to the New York Mets.
And that's
and they're still 3 games over 500.
Well, we'll get an up-close and personal look at those Pirates beginning on Thursday night over there. Walk to Schebler, Reds first base runner. Here's Peraza. This guy's swinging such a hot bat. You just cannot get him, or you don't want to keep him out of the lineup.
He's swinging a smart bat. I mean, you know, he takes a rip early in the count, but he gets a couple of strikes on him, and you can see him visibly cut his swing down, trying to become a pesky out.
Schebler running as Peraza fouls that ball.
Got a big jump.
You saw the stat there, 13 games and a .467 average for Peraza since his most recent return from Louisville. Well, you can judge these guys as to what you think they might do when they get up here to the big leagues. But boy, Peraza has been so impressive. Out in left field today, we've seen him start at second. We've seen him start at short. He can play center field. Yes, indeed. It'll be interesting to see what position the Reds settle on with Peraza. Keeping in mind that Dick Williams has said a lot of times this year when we've talked to him, toward the hole, they'll get an out at second and safe at first. That he wants his players to be versatile. So while Peraza's main position may be second base, he'll be able to play short. He'll be able to go to left field in a pinch and play other positions.
Well, one reason why the Reds were running Schebler early in the count was the fact that Carlos Martinez leads the league in the number of ground ball double plays served up. That was nearly number 29 on the year. You see the ground ball, he came in second in number of ground ball percentage. We showed you the leader yesterday. That was Jaime Garcia, the Cardinal starter. And 28 ground ball double plays tops the leaderboard. So if he can keep him close at first base, he oftentimes rolls him over.
Here's Ramon Cabrera. He was one of the main offensive heroes in yesterday's game when he had that pinch hit 2-run single in the 7th to extend the Reds lead from 2-1 to 4-1, driving home Hamilton and Votto. He did that against Dean Kieckhaefer, batting from the right side.
There were some second guessers who were following the Cardinals around yesterday, wondering why Mike Matheny wanted that matchup of Kieckhaefer, left-handed rookie, against Ramon Cabrera. Boy, that's the second one-handed great catch we've seen in the stands here so far. But you know what he said was, well, what I didn't want to see, and the alternative would have been to bring in Jonathan Broxton, seasoned right-hander, and then of course the Reds probably would have countered with Scott Schebler. And he didn't want that matchup. He'd rather have the left-hander facing Ramon Cabrera, even though Cabrera is much better from the right side. Small sample size, but still he's been a .320 hitter hitting right-handed.
Yeah, and you hit on a good point. It's not always the matchup that ends up the one you see, but the one that you don't want to see.
Correct.
Cabrera at 256 on the year with a homer. He's driven in 19.
Here's the catch that we were referring to. This is the second one-handed catch in the last inning. That's a dandy. I don't need no glove.
That whole box right down there celebrating. Young lady acts like she made that catch. She's thrilled to death.
Now this is, I can't say it's a must game for the Cardinals, but boy, oh boy, I'm sure that they feel like they've just been shell-shocked here in this series. First game, very tight game. Yesterday, a tight game for most of the game until the Reds blew it open. But they came in here playing the Reds thinking it would be the same old, and not so far.
Cabrera down on strikes. 2 of them in the inning. 3 of them in the game now for Carlos Martinez.